these mirrors.
Yeah, these mirrors.
These twin mirrors.
I have put aluminum foil behind the glass,
Oh,
which
okay.
makes the glass look much better because,
Okay.
you know, they were very worn out.
Uh-huh.
I
Are they-
remember when I was at home when I was young, say 10 or 12, my mother had inherited these and decided she was going to clean them. So she opened them up, and in behind was some paper that somebody had used to protect the back,
Uh-huh.
and it was dated 1883.
Oh. Huh. Well, that's
So
nice.
they were not new even then. They are older than that.
Okay. Huh. But we don't know much about them.
No, I know they were in my grandparents' home. That's all I
Okay.
know.
Mm.
And they were used because they had gas lights.
Oh, so it was on your mom's side?
No, everything
No.
is on my
Okay,
dad's side.
but
I
your
have
mom
nothing
inherited
from my
them.
mom's side.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's kind of a wild family, if I remember right.
Oh yeah, I can tell you a little bit about them. I only met most of them once,
Uh-huh.
and one I didn't even meet at all because my mother hated her
Uh-huh.
and would not admit that she existed.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, I knew Aunt Betty,
Uh-huh.
my mother's.
Sister.
Yeah, she was 5 years younger than my mother, and you know I got to know her. You might even remember Aunt Betty.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
So she was the one I knew the most, and then I also knew my cousin Eleanor.
Mm-hmm.
You remember her probably?
Mm-hmm, I do. Yeah.
Well, she was the daughter of a lady that had no name.
Okay.
Actually, her name was what was her name? Began with a J, because they called her J.
Mm.
But I have all that written down one place or another.
Mm-hmm.
And she got pregnant, you know,
Oh, out of wedlock.
out of wedlock. And I understand they had a huge fight, my mother and she. I mean, a knockdown, roll around
Wow.
fight. And I think she was kicked out of the house.
Oh, goodness.
And her father took the baby when it was born.
Oh, okay.
He wouldn't let her have it because it was out of wedlock.
Uh-huh.
And so she was brought up, she started being brought up by the grandparents,
Mm-hmm.
and they couldn't handle her finally.
Mm.
And then they gave her to the first daughter in the family, who was Aunt Helen.
Oh, okay.
Aunt
Yeah.
Helen number one.
Mm-hmm.
And she did not want her.
Mm.
And so she had a very unhappy upbringing.
Mm.
And when she was in her teens,
Mm-hmm.
she ran away to Aunt Betty's house.
Mm, okay.
Because Aunt Betty loved her and wanted her,
Oh.
but they wouldn't let her have her.
Oh, that's too
So
bad.
then, yeah, and then so, you know, Aunt Betty made sure that she got to go to college and became
Wow.
she was a nurse.
Okay.
Like Aunt Betty was also a nurse.
Oh,
And so her last years were much better.
okay. That's good.
You know, when I knew her, and she married a doctor, so she was
Good.
doing well. And yeah, we were friends.
Good.
I knew her. Then my mother had 3 brothers. The first one was Uncle Mike,
Mm.
also called Uncle Red because he had red hair.
Oh, gotcha.
And we saw him a few times, but I don't think you were with us
I don't remember
What,
that.
in Indianapolis?
in Indianapolis.
Oh.
I don't think you were with us when
Yeah,
we
I don't
stopped to
remember
see him,
that.
but he had the same birthday as our Brian did,
Oh,
as Liam does.
right. December 29th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was his birthday,
Huh.
and so he was really glad to meet Brian, who had the same birthday. We
Nice.
stopped several times on the way to
Kansas.
Kansas City, yeah. And they were very nice. They'd never had any children.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one was Dan, and Dan was in the war,
Which
And-
war?
Second World War. They
Okay.
were all 3 in the Second World
Oh,
War.
okay.
But yeah, Mike was in the Coast Guard, so he was off the coast
Oh,
of Canada.
Canada.
No,
Yeah. Well.
Not Canada. can't think of the
Like
words.
the Atlantic or?
No, he was in the
Superior.
Pacific,
Oh, he was in the Pacific. Okay.
California,
Gotcha.
and he was off there, and he never really had any great experiences. I know that Danny had a very hard time because he was with I can't remember the guy's name now anyhow, but they were in France fighting,
Oh.
and they were fighting in Germany, and he had a really hard time.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, while he was overseas, his wife had a baby,
Mm-hmm.
and she died and the baby died.
Oh gosh, that's awful.
At least that's what I'm told.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always wondered if the baby survived, that he probably died because, childbirth just
Yeah.
would do that at that age. And he had mental problems,
Mm-hmm.
probably caused by the war and by losing his wife and not even being there.
Mm-hmm.
And but he would come and visit us
Mm-hmm.
because he lived in Cleveland,
Okay.
and he would come and visit us, and he and Frank got along well together.
Oh,
Frank
was he the
son
one
he
that
never knew?
rode the hot rod and
Yeah.
take Frank for rides and
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. And that was good that he had someone like that.
Mhm.
But then he would go downhill and he would start writing letters to senators threatening them, and
Hmm.
they would come and arrest him and put him in.
You can't really threaten people
No,
physically. You can be like, I don't like what you're doing. You should
Yeah.
do something else. But
yeah. But he would threaten them, and then they would put him in one of the hospitals, the
Mm.
veterans hospitals
Mhm.
in Cleveland, and my mother would go see him, and then he would get better, and they'd let him out.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like he ran a regular 3-year or 5-year or something.
Oh, cycle.
syndrome. Yeah,
Mhm.
cycle.
Hmm.
And then the other one was who is still alive.
Oh.
Oh no, he isn't still alive. He
Okay.
died first. John,
John.
and he had 2 kids.
Okay.
And he's really the only one that has had a family that.
Was pretty stable.
Well, I got to go visit them once because my grandfather did not like Aunt Helen. That was Aunt Helen too.
Oh.
And then what's his? No, that was Mary. Who was Helen 3. Helen 1. Oh, Helen 2 was married to. There was another Helen. There were 3 Helens anyhow. Oh, Mike's wife was Helen 3.
Mm.
So we had lots of Helens in the family.
Yeah.
Must have been a popular name at that time.
Yeah.
But Dan's wife was named Mary. I remember her.
Oh.
They all brought their wives to visit Mom
Oh.
during the war. And I was maybe 3 and 4 years old, and
Uh-huh.
I remembered all of them.
Oh. Wow.
And I asked my mother a question about one of them, and she said, "How did you know that?" Well, I was there.
That
I
was
had a good memory.